Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where you are invited for lighthearted conversations about things that matter as you seek to live your most meaningful, beautiful, and joyful life. I'm your host, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at the House of Joy. Well, hi, dear ones. Welcome back to the House of Joy. I'm so glad you're here. Y'all, my heart is so full. I got to spend this past weekend with my coaches, with the coaches who've been certified as LMS coaches through my program. And there was about 120 of us there total, I think. But it was a weekend of community and teaching and fun and dancing and just complete inspiration. And my heart is so full from the weekend. I have some fun stories to tell you. And I thought this would be a great time for us to talk about the company you keep. So we're going to talk about why community is so important, 7 reasons it matters so much, the company you keep, and an invitation in case you are ready for a different kind of community. So I host basically 2 live events a year, and one is in the middle of the year, and that's for my whole program, whether my women are coaches or not. That's for Life Mentoring School. It's called Love is Magic. That live event is insane. There's usually around 350 people at that one. And then in November, this is the second time that I've hosted my coaches, that I've brought my coaches together for, teaching and community and just a way to fill them up as they're going out to serve their clients. And I am telling you something. I really do believe that saying that you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So it's a good way to take some inventory and ask yourself, like, oh, is the company that I keep helping me to step more into my true self, helping me to be more of who I am, helping me contribute my gifts more? And I will say that after spending time with these amazing women, I believe this more deeply than ever. I stood in that room filled with women who were just on fire for their lives, laughing, hugging, crying, praying for each other. And I thought, this is what true community is. And so many of them said to me, I never imagined as an adult woman that I could be in community as loving and nurturing and powerful as this community is. And I could not agree more. And these are women who haven't necessarily had, the easiest stories, women who've carried the weight of everyone else's needs, who suddenly one day wake up and realize, like, oh, I need some support too. And they have found that in the communities that we've created here. And it just made me so happy. Women who've spent decades maybe in wrong communities, dimming their light, who I feel like are really stepping into their own and stepping out and really living into their full potential. And I think it is so important for us to recognize how powerful it is to be seen by people, supported by people who see you as your true self, who see the potential in you, who encourage you in your calling, who aren't afraid to have deep, really meaningful conversations. There's something about it that is so, so precious. So I want to talk about 7 reasons why community is so powerful. And I want you to think about the company you keep as we go into these reasons. So number 1, transformation, real transformation, happens in relationship. Now, a lot of us are into, all of these ways that we can improve our mindset, that we can become more emotionally resilient and powerful, that we can have stronger, more connected relationships. We read the books, we listen to the podcasts. If you're like me, you journal your little heart out. But I do believe that real lasting transformation happens best in community. When you have someone that can really hold that space for you, when you have people in your life who really do see the areas where maybe you've struggled, that you want to grow, and can really hold that space for you so that you can become everything that you were created to be. And I do think that having a strong and powerful community is kind of like holding up a mirror to yourself. I think that's why coaching is so powerful. It's a relationship that's designed for reflection. And when you multiply that in a room full of coaches, you guys, it is just insane. It feels like a miracle. I love these women so much. At the event, so we held the event in Knoxville, and the hotel that's attached to the airport is so convenient. It feels like coming home. We've held so many events there that it just feels like coming home. And as soon as I walked in, I started seeing my people, and my heart just felt so at home and so excited to be there together with them. But I watched these women tell their stories. I see all of these women, some connecting for the first time. We actually had a lot of first timers there because we have a new class of coaches that are going to be starting in February. I'll tell you at the end, by the way, if you know, there are some of you listening to this podcast and you know it's time for you to really step into your next level. You know that it's time for you to take everything that you've been given and start giving it away. So this is the last chance to join this certification class before we start in February, and you'll get access to the whole thing before we start. So I'll let you know more about that. When this podcast goes live, we actually will be right in the middle of our summit, our Next Level Life Summit. So message us if you want to get access to that. But I was watching all of these women, a lot of them brand new, a lot of them in the upcoming class, and they were just talking about how powerful it was to be there together, to actually meet each other in person. A lot of them I have coached or have, they've been in my program for a long time, but a lot of them are pretty new. And instantly they feel this connection in this group, and they can see how powerful it's going to be for their own transformation to be there. So I do believe that our best and most sustaining transformation comes in community. Number 2, belonging is something that we all crave, and belonging is a decision. I talked about this when we all first got together this weekend. I can remember times when I walked into meetings like that where there's all these people that you don't know, a lot of women who showed up, drove by themselves or flew to Knoxville by themselves. They didn't have like a buddy that they were traveling with or anything like that, and that did not matter. And I gave them a pep talk before it started, so I'm going to give you this pep talk too. Belonging is a decision. Belonging starts when you decide that you belong, and you're going to bring people along with you. So the next time you walk into a meeting or to a room or into a group, especially of women, take a deep breath and remind yourself that you're not looking to see if you belong. No, you create belonging. God sent you into that room. You belong there. And how can you not only create belonging for yourself, but for other people? And that simple inner shift will change how you show up to your life, because we're often scanning around the room looking for evidence that we fit in. Or more often, our brain is scanning the room trying to prove how we don't fit in. And that's your brain's job, because your brain is trying to keep you safe. But you also have this beautiful God-redeemed part of you who can just create this. Start offering belonging as a gift to other people instead of trying to look around and see if you do. And that's what I see over and over in our community. We just train our women to do this. So they just create belonging. They just decide that they belong, and they go around and bring people into their circle. It was interesting. Somebody told me on Friday, we always, at my events, you guys, we always have dance parties. And I'm always trying to bring people into it. Because again, it's easy to say, well, I'm not really into that, or I don't know that line dance. I don't know all the words to that song like Dr. Edie or all the people that have been here forever. And I just try to bring them in and get them dancing and get them having fun. And I think when we stop trying to earn a seat at the table and start realizing that this table wouldn't be the same without all of us, we can create so much belonging. And when you decide to belong, you give other people permission to do the same. You become the woman who says, come sit with me. You belong here too. So where have you been waiting for an invitation that God already gave you permission to not just accept, but to create for someone else? Belonging is so powerful. Belonging is a decision. So where have you not been belonging, and how can you create that? How can you basically create your own community? By creating belonging. Number 3, community is so powerful because you or who you're around determines what feels normal for you. Proximity is power. The people you spend time with quietly behind the scenes, set the thermostat for your life. So if you're around women who complain a lot, you tend to complain. If you're around women who don't prioritize their health or who don't prioritize relationships, you tend to do the same. Women that you are around, are they creating amazing things in their life? Are they creating resilience? Are they leading? Are they living awake? You begin to calibrate your own life to the energy of the people around you. Is joy normal in your circle? Is freedom normal? Is creating a life you love normal? Is dreaming again normal? Because if it's not, you need to create or become a part of communities where it is normal. And before you know it, those new things will become normal for you too. You will start taking risks. You will start dreaming again. You will start just reaching out to people and creating belonging wherever you are. You will start creating amazing things in your life when you realize that the company you keep is powerful. And your nervous system now recognizes that as normal and safe. I watch this happen in every round of certification or when a new batch of students comes into life mentoring school. I watch this happen. The women who are in there are so incredible and so powerful and so regulated in their nervous system. They know how to create belonging that when somebody joins who feels tentative or unsure within weeks, she's already feeling that same kind of emotional power too. And that is what happens when you get in a room of incredible, nurturing, loving women who are desiring to live as their true selves, who are really unleashing their potential. You rise to the frequency of the room that you're in. So ask yourself, am I in circles that are keeping me small? And how can I start to expand that? Number 4, the wrong company will keep you small. Let's be honest. Some circles just aren't safe for your growth. You know this is true. If you have to constantly explain yourself or justify yourself or shrink a little bit, you'll eventually start doubting your own dreams too. You can't flourish in environments that don't celebrate you becoming everything that you could be. Now, sometimes God will lovingly move you out of circles that can't hold your next season. So if you feel some pruning right now, it can be painful, but what if it's just making room for a community that can hold your dreams and your next season? I've definitely had to do that too, walking away from spaces that fed too much of my false self, that kept me small, that didn't nourish my true self. And the in-between of that can feel lonely, but I just want you to be in environments that really help you grow, where if you're building new roots, where those roots can really take hold. So have you outgrown some relationships that you haven't had the courage to either release or to really invest more in relationships where you know you can grow? Okay, number 5, community is important. The company you keep is important because you were created for contribution, not comparison. Our culture teaches us to measure our worth by visibility, by competition. I'm going to tell you, there is none of that. There was none of that I noticed at all when I was with my people this weekend. It feels like such a divine community where we're celebrating each other's gifts, where each woman brings her light, her laughter, her joy, and it makes the whole room brighter. I've watched it happen so many times over and over again. I often find that this happens too when we're willing to be vulnerable. One woman shares her story of loss or struggle, and another finds courage to tell hers. One woman steps out to launch her business, and then suddenly 10 other people are encouraging her or sharing their stories. And that is the model of how we grow. It's like multiplication through generosity. And when you shift from comparing yourself to everybody else to truly wanting to contribute your gifts and knowing that everybody's here to contribute the gifts God has given us, it moves us from scarcity to abundance. You start asking, do I fit? And you start asking, how can I serve? So how could your presence and your story be the missing piece that someone else really needs in their own life to be able to step out and contribute their gifts? Number 6, because community makes you braver. There's something about being cheered on by people who get it. When you say your dreams out loud in a safe circle and you can feel the support, you can feel people cheering you on. Your friends start to hold you accountable to the greatness inside of you, to the amazing gifts that you've been given. And when fear does show up, as it does, you will have people to remind you of what's true. They will hold up a mirror and say, hey, you've done hard things before. You can do this. That's what happens inside of these amazing community circles. And I can tell you that in these coaching circles, we borrow each other's belief until our own belief catches up. And we remember that bravery doesn't mean that we're not afraid. It means we move with the fear sometimes and we do it together. That kind of shared courage, it's really contagious. And when one woman steps out in that bravery, it gives other women permission to do it too. So I pray that you are in circles like this. Number 7, the company you keep is important because legacy is never a solo project. I have learned this over and over, you guys, especially in the last couple of years. I think I had a story that, especially in my own business, I had to be the one doing the teaching. I had to be the one. I had this lie in my brain that was kind of like, no, you have to be the one. And it sometimes put a lot of pressure on me. I would put a lot of pressure on myself. And this summit that I'm leading this very day, as you are probably listening to this podcast, listen, my coaches stepped in. We did this summit a couple of months ago and enrolled a bunch of new people in our coach certification. And my coaches stepped up and taught some of the most amazing lessons, the most amazing and inspiring things that I've ever heard. I took so many notes myself, you guys, because legacy is never a solo project. And I'm strengthened when I make way for other people to step in with their gifts. And it was a lie that, quote unquote, I had to be the one to do it. I have watched it ripple out to our community who now love our coaches so much. I'm just so thankful to be still learning lessons like this. And I also know this, that when you live as your true self, you become evidence that that is possible for other women. And I have watched our coaches do this. It makes me so happy when they just keep living more and more as their true selves. They keep sharing their gifts, not perfectly. None of us do, but in a vulnerable, beautiful way. And that is what I love about this work. Now, every coach that I have trained who says yes to doing the work for herself and then sharing that work, there's this ripple effect. She's not just changing her own life. She's building a legacy of healing and hope that will impact generations. I really do think we were designed to create together, to collaborate, to multiply the joy, to reflect. I think it's kind of a God-given principle for women to reflect the beauty of this collaboration. I think that's the heartbeat of community. And it definitely is the foundation of what we're doing here at Life Mentoring School and how we are training our coaches. So maybe today's question isn't just who are you spending your time with? Maybe the question is, who are you becoming because of the company you keep? And if you've been craving a circle of women that calls you to your higher self, that believes in your gifts, that helps you grow in freedom and joy, this is your invitation. Maybe you're already joining us for the summit itself, but hey, maybe it's time for you to consider really taking a deep dive and getting certified with us. That first certification process that I went through, you guys, totally changed my entire life. I didn't know one person. I didn't really know the coach that I signed up to do certification with. I didn't know one person in there, but I kept feeling this tug. Like, I know I've been given these gifts. I feel this call. I see how these coaching tools have blessed my own life, and I feel this call to do it. And you guys, I stepped out. I was afraid and I did it anyway. And that one decision has been rippling in my life since 2019. And I am so thankful I made it. Now, I know that some of you listening to this podcast right now feel the tug. You need to give this a good, you need to give this some time to think about this. This will be the last time that we're enrolling for the class that starts in February. And then we're not sure if we're going to do 1 or 2 classes next year, but right now we only have 1 planned. So if you know that becoming a coach, becoming a mentor is on your dream list, I want you to head over to edwadsworthcoaching.com/certification, and I want you to read all about it. If you have questions, reach out to us at support at Edie Wadsworth Coaching, and we can pair you up with a coach that you can meet with and talk to about it. But we would love to be part of your journey to your next level of contribution. We would love to be the company you keep in 2026. When you choose community on purpose, you won't just find belonging. You'll normalize miracles. You'll embody joy. You'll become a woman whose life whispers to everyone around her, come on in, you belong here too. I feel like it has made my life so full and so magnetic. And I think we will be open for about 10 days. Once we open certification today, we'll be open for about 10 days. So we would love to welcome you in to our class in February. So I love you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.